Welcome. Welcome back to Fl'AwesomeBlossom. My name is Kiki and I am absolutely delighted, privileged, and proud to be your host. This is when we get introduced to David, and it's his big entrance into the Bible. And what an entrance, and what a first event for him. He certainly makes a name for himself, and he's God's chosen one, right? This is where things go bad for Saul, because as soon as Samuel anoints David, that's when Saul feels the loss of God. And that's when his servants are like, you should get someone to play a musical instrument for you. So guess what? Guess what happens? Saul sends for David. And maybe there was an ulterior motive here. Maybe Saul just was like, I just got to see this guy. I got to see this kid. This is the one that's going to replace me? I can't believe this. But David is summoned to play the harp for Saul. And he does. And guess what? As he's playing the harp, Saul recovers. Jesse sends David to go hang out with Saul. Saul saw the potential in David. He's going to trust God's judgment on this. And he had to get over himself. That was that whole part before. It was his jealousy, his disappointment, all of those things. But he sees the potential in David. So he keeps him at his court. And he makes him his armor bearer, which basically means like an elevated servant. He's a manservant that's almost by this guy's side at all times, okay? In this way, David is now in the court of a real live king, and he is starting to hear and learn what it means to be king. Saul, just because God has taken his favor off of Saul, doesn't mean Saul is no longer king. He's still in this position of power for the people that are there. So he still has to do the king stuff, right? And what do we know? What do? They settle disputes, land disputes, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of ass kissing involved, right? It's the political landscape. And David is now in it, and he's learning it. Learning by osmosis. He is observing. If nothing else, he is observing and watching what's working, what's not working. How did this person react to this? You know, these kinds of things. All right. Now, I don't think very much time has gone by. Chapter 17. Now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle. And so basically, an army is coming to Saul's doorstep. And Saul's like, oh, we better gather our army too. But these two armies are massively outmatched. The Philistines have a massive population, and they have conscription, and anybody who is their slave is now their pleb in the army. So they're marching forth across this land, this massive army. And they are coming to challenge Saul and Israel. And they're fighting in the Judean valley, right? And there went out a champion of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. And if we are to Google what that means, that basically means he was 6'9". There's some debate about measurements. So there's another text that suggests that Goliath could be 6'6" or 6'9". Either way, 3 inches, is that a deal breaker? Is it? Is it? Does it make that much of a difference? But I do like how it seems that the higher height has won out. And that's how you really know this is written by a man, right? Fun factoid, I am 5'10" and a half. I used to be 5'11", but we shrink as we get older. One time I went out on a date, like a blind date, like, the internet kind of dating thing, right? Where you put all your stats, and I said I'm 5'10" and a half, or probably 5'11", flat feet. And this guy said that he was 6 feet tall. So technically he should be half a foot taller than me, or sorry, half an inch taller than me with, without his shoes on. So I went on this date wearing flats, wearing runners. Actually, we went for a walk on the seawall. And this guy showed up and he was much shorter than me. Like not just half an inch shorter than me, not just like an inch shorter than me. I could see the top of his head. And I gotta tell you guys, it's no good lying about your height because when we meet you, we know we can see you. Anyway, aside from that. So yeah, Bible's written by men, I think. And that's why the highest height of Goliath. Plus it makes for the better story, right? He was 3 inches more. He was this tall. So Goliath has come with the Philistine army, right? And they've had to travel. And do you think an army just walks from point A to point B without confrontation? Probably not. They're probably raping and pillaging as they go, fighting little skirmishes here, little skirmishes there. And we are introduced to their champion, Goliath. He's so important, we know his height. We also know exactly what he's wearing, right? He had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. That equals to around 125 pounds in today's standards, okay? He is wearing a chainmail coat, which is essentially an additional 125 pounds on top of him. And he's a big man. We're told this, right? He's a big man. And he had greaves of brass upon his legs and a target of brass between his shoulders. So that weight, the weight of those greaves on his legs, and the huge thing, the huge plate on his back, which was a typical thing to put on armor because your back is fairly vulnerable, right? There's a lot more flesh you can go through on the front, but on the back, you're more likely to die of an arrow wound through your back than you are through your front, unless they're getting you right in the heart zone. But my point is this. He's a big guy. He's already wearing 125 pounds worth of armor in this coat. Plus, he's got brass greaves on his legs. He's got this big brass plate on his back. And that's gotta weigh stuff. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam. So essentially, this guy has a massive spear. And his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron. And one bearing a shield went before him. So, I need you to pay attention to that last line, right? So he's heavily armored with heavy armor. His spear weighs a lot, right? Just the fact that it's like a tree trunk, a weaver's beam. Think about a loom, how massive that must be. So yeah, it's huge, it's big shield, and one bearing a shield went in front of him. That means he is escorted, right? Someone's with him. Someone's got his shield, and they're walking in front of him. Come on, Goliath, this way, doodly-doo. Why would your champion need an escort? Why would someone have to come with him? Did Achilles need an escort when he came out and yelled out, Hector, you, me, one-on-one, let's do this, let's get this over with. Nobody else has to die. Let's just do this, you and me, one-on-one, we'll do it. Achilles didn't need an escort. He was their best warrior, their biggest dude. He was a half god, he was a demigod. Anyway, Goliath needed an escort. Why would that be? Let's think about it for a second. This army has traveled for a couple of weeks to get here. They've had battles along the way. Do you think Goliath hid in his tent and let everyone else do it? No. He's very boastful. In the Bible, he's super boastful. So he's probably He's not Achilles. He's not give me cause and I'll give you war. He's like, give me a spear and I'll give you war. I just need an instrument of doom and I'll just do the doom. He's not in it for a cause, right? I guess the cause he's in it for is himself. Accolades, money, position, women, wine. This is how they were rewarded. Soldiers in that time were rewarded with a little bit of money, but more likely you were rewarded with provisions. And the provisions were lots of food, the best kind of food, because they need you to be healthy and they're going to keep you happy. So they're going to give you some women to be with and they're going to give you some wine, but not too much wine because you got to fight. But this is the culture of that time. You cannot forget that because it plays such an important role. It's the morning when Goliath comes out and he's escorted by this one person. Why would he need an escort? Anyway, and he stood and cried out to the armies of Israel and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle array? Am I not a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. If he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be the servants and serve us. So Goliath, he pulls an Achilles, right? One-on-one battle, whoever winner takes all, right? If I lose to your man, you can have the whole Philistine army, all right? We'll be your servants. We'll be servants to Saul, all right? But if I win, you're going to be servants to us. And the Israelites at this point, I mean, they're looking at him. He's huge. He's massive. He's probably bellowing, you know. He's a scary mofo. They're scared of him. And the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself for 40 days. That's a huge thing. So Goliath doesn't just come out one day and say, hey, let's do it today. He comes out every day for 40 days and basically is like, we're getting ready to kill you. So you better hurry up. Like, we can do this one-on-one. Otherwise, you know, time's a ticking and pretty soon it's going to be full-on war. So for 40 days, everyone in the camp is hearing this call, right? Come on out, come on out. And David, at this point, David was returned back to his dad. Probably Saul's sort of like, you should kind of go. You should probably go tend to your sheep. And so he goes. And David isn't really aware of how many days this is going on for. He gets sent away pretty quick. But then, as time's going on, his dad's like, you know what? You should go and bring some provisions down. You should, and also tell me what's going on. Go down there, give your brothers some food, and like report to me what's going on. So David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with a keeper. So he's leaving the sheep with a servant, and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench, and as the host was going forth to fight, and shouted for the battle. For Israel and the Philistines have put the battle in array, army against army. So this is it. The 40 days is up, and the army of Philistine is like, well, you didn't send out a champion. This is the day we're going to fight. Everyone, we're getting ready. We're arming ourselves, right? So both camps are starting to get ready. Everyone's getting ready. And David comes in and he's like, all right. Chapter 17, verse 22. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage and ran into the army and came and saluted his brethren. He went to go see his brothers. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of Philistine, and spake according to the same words. And David heard them. So this is when David first hears that there's an opportunity to save hundreds of lives, that there just needs to be, Goliath has been calling for one-on-one combat. And this is the first time that David is hearing this. And he's like, okay, sounds great. Who's going to do it? Right? Let's do this. Let's get it. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and they were sore afraid. And the men of Israel said, have ye seen this man that's come up? Surely to defy Israel he is come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. So basically what's going on here is everyone's afraid, but everyone kind of knows if you are brave enough and you can kill Goliath, the king, Saul, he's going to raise you up. He's going to set you free. Like if you were a slave, you're not going to be a slave anymore. He's going to have you marry his daughter as a massive thank you, and you're going to be set for life. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he would defy the armies of living God? And this is the thing, right? We're so far removed from the theater of war, how it used to be. There are going to be armed camps on either side, but there's taunting. It's going to be like, your mother smelt of elderberries. Like, they're going to be yelling at each other, right? Your father was a hamster and your mother smells of elderberries. They're going to be beaking back and forth. And there would have been a lot of smack talk, especially because these two peoples have different gods. So they're going to be making fun of each other's gods. Maybe the Israelites who know better are like, we should zip it. We should just be praying to our God and not be worrying about them. But Goliath in the Philistine army, you know he's doing a lot of beaking. There's a lot of crap talk coming out of his mouth. I mean, he's bold and brazen, basically saying, fight me. Come on. So basically David's like, are you sure that whoever kills him is going to be set up for life? And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was against David. As I think what happened here is that David's trying to rally the troops. He's like, come on, we can do it. Somebody amongst us. And imagine you're going to be set up as king. Come on. I could probably do this. And his older brother, who's in his 20s, who maybe has experienced battle one or two times before, he's going to react like most brothers would. If you were the older sibling, if you were in your 20s, and your 13-year-old younger snot-nosed brother who's not seen battle, who's only tended the sheep alone a couple of times, are you gonna want that young guy to go face Goliath? Do you think a 20-year-old is going to be looking at that 13-year-old thinking, oh yeah, that's our man? No, he's going to want to protect his brother from harm. And he's also probably thinking, David, what the heck? Give your head a shake. You are not equipped. You don't have the physical strength. You don't have the training for this. What are you thinking? And he's mad. He's trying to deter David. He's like, come on, this isn't for you. And David's like, what have I done? What are you doing? What's the matter? Here, I can just imagine Eliab grabbing David by his ear. Come on over here, you punk. David, what have I done now? Is there no cause? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. So basically, David's trying to get someone to volunteer. And he's like, come on, get the king to agree. This is how it's going to go. These are the terms. If you win, the king will agree to all these. And Saul calls David to him. And David's like, I'm your man. I can do this. I can do this. And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him? For thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. So P.S. David, love where your brain's at. Saul's basically saying, love where your head's at, man. But you're a kid and you are not battle tested. This guy is battle hardened. He has been a soldier from your age and he's like way older than you now. He is the best of the best. You are just young. You can't go up against this guy. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and I took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he rose against me, I caught him by his beard and I smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defiled the armies of the living God. I love David. He's like, you know what? We're looking at this all wrong. I'm young, but guess what? I protected my father's sheep against a bear and a lion. Not only did I knock him down so I could get the lamb back, but as this thing was coming to, I killed it. So I can do this. I have killed a lion and I have killed a bear. I have killed two of the largest animals, the largest predatory animals that live in our neighborhood. I mean, he's just lucky he doesn't live by a river because hippos lived in that region too, and they actually kill more people than lions do. Just FYI, Google that factoid. It's true. All right, David, he's putting his case out. I've done this before. I have met with massive adversity that you wouldn't think I would survive because I'm a kid, but I did it. And the proof is that my parents' sheep are still there. Verse 37, David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be with you. All right, my blooming blossoms, my precious petals, and my darling dahlias, mes petits choux. That is it for part 2. Come back, join me next time for part 3, where we wrap it on up for you with the David and Goliath. All right? In the meantime, I hope you are living your life in full on Fl'awesome Blossom. I will see you next time.